In today's morning rounds, the fight to stop one of the leading causes of death in the U.S. In 2016, nearly 10 million adults said they had serious thoughts about trying to take their own lives.
Now, an old drug is being used in a new way to help people in the desperate grip of depression. And the results have been astounding, researchers. Paula Reid has the story.
And I was able to go back to work.
Ann Stallings says she's been battling severe depression for most of her life. She tried antidepressants and even electroconvulsive therapy, but nothing worked until she came to this Potomac, Maryland clinic and tried ketamine.
It was like the 5th treatment in, and I had come home from the grocery store, and I was putting my own groceries, and I was like, wow, this is how you don't feel depressed. It was like turning from a black and white TV to a color TV.
Ketamine was approved by the FDA in the 1970s to sedate patients during medical procedures. It's more commonly known as an animal tranquilizer and in powder form as Special K, a club drug used to get high. Today, ketamine is being provided legally off-label to treat depression at an estimated 250 clinics across the U.S.
So in an average day, how many patients do you have across all the offices?
We see about 10 to 12 in this office, and across all of them, 70 to 80 a day.
Dr. Steve Levine offers intravenous ketamine infusions at several clinics around the country as an alternative to common antidepressants.
Everything for the past 50 years has been based on the chemical imbalance theory of depression, which has never held water. So all of these medicines, while they do help a lot of people, are based upon a flawed theory. And that's probably one of the reasons why they do take so long to work. They all take weeks to months to work. So here's a medicine that people can take infrequently that is based upon a theory of the brain that makes a lot more sense, and it works almost immediately.
Stallings didn't have time to wait. She had an especially hard time over the holidays, and when her father got sick, she thought about taking her own life.
I actually had suicidal ideations. The one thing about ketamine was that I was able to get in here emergently because I knew what was going on. And when I left here, the suicidal thoughts were gone.
So you had suicidal thoughts. You got an emergency appointment for ketamine, and after that appointment, your suicidal thoughts were gone?
Yes, gone.
That's in line with what Columbia University discovered in one of the largest studies yet on ketamine. Researchers found the drug was significantly more effective than a commonly used sedative in reducing suicidal thoughts in depressed patients. The effects lasted up to 6 weeks. 22-year-old Mark Nelson ditched his antidepressants for ketamine and talk therapy. He says he now feels more like himself, but it came at a cost. He has spent more than $10,000 on treatments.
So many different drugs that I am now off of all of them. Which, the side effects just were not tolerable to me. They're making me a zombie. I was not happy.
But these infusions can have their own pitfalls.
The 45-minute period of very floatiness. I sometimes get nauseous. They give me a pill for that.
Ketamine can cause people to feel detached from their bodies.
It's a very interesting process.
How so?
In the fact that I just lost my train of thought.
Which is why we had to pause our interview until Nelson completed his treatment.
So how are you feeling?
Clear, cognizant, and definitely able to pronounce my words.
There are going to be some critics who say that perhaps you are just making money by giving people the opportunity to get high. What do you say to that?
I would say that if you ask any of our patients, none of them feel that they're getting high. People tend to focus on the party use of ketamine because it's more exciting, it's sexier in some way. It does it a disservice because that's a very, very small fraction of its use. And as far as the money-making aspect of this, if you're doing things in the right way, you're not going to make a lot of money.
Ketamine has piqued the interest of several major pharmaceutical companies. There are half a dozen drugs in development that would mimic the way ketamine works. Some of them are currently undergoing FDA clinical trials as antidepressants.
So what we're trying to understand is what does it change in the brain that allows that sustained antidepressant-like response.
For decades, Dr. Jerry Sanacora has been studying ketamine at Yale. He says the drug is not addictive in the way opioids are, but could still be harmful in the long run.
There is at least evidence in animal models that these type of medications can actually cause some structural damage in the brain. That's usually at higher doses, usually at longer term exposure, but we don't know where that level is.
Dr. Levine says he monitors patients closely.
In our population, even people who've been having ketamine on a maintenance basis for up to 6 years now, we haven't seen any sign of that.
But for Ann Stallings, despite the unknowns, she's content with a chance to feel normal.
If I can live a quality, happy life and be productive, be able to go to work, to be able to have my family, to enjoy life, not walk through life, but enjoy life, and it's worth it.
For CBS This Morning Saturday, Paula Reid, Potomac, Maryland.
It's really pretty fascinating.
Yeah, really exciting field of study. I think we're going to see a lot more on that front in the coming years.
And life-changing for a woman like that.